It is 8:10, Newstalk, Saga 960, Raw, Mike Richards, as we have yet another crap May Day, May 11th, also in the not good category. But what has been 2020 has been one of those years where every day we've been holding their beer, and I'm getting a little sick of it. If I'm looking at the rest of the world now, we're slowly coming out of it. We're doing the right things. I think I got to be honest. I think Canada, here in Ontario and the GTA, we've done a really good job of what we're supposed to do. To me, I look at how the numbers and how people have reacted. There's always the Lugan factor, right? There's always people who just kind of don't get it. But for the most part, I really think that we have done a pretty good job. But we're not out of it yet. And once again, the social distancing plus all the other things that you can do to be safe, Ontario's been doing. And certainly a big part of what we do each and every day, Bell Lifestyle Products, they have been a huge help and great, not only as our backers, but for information in the area of natural health products. And this morning, we have our very good friend, Tim Allen, who looks very, I would say regal, but
Mr.
that's
Rogers-ish?
Yeah, when you had the mask on, it really scared me, but
Yeah.
there also was a politeness to it, which you rarely see in criminals, I find. And Hugh is with us back again. Hugh Comerford,
Yes.
am I saying that properly? Because I want to make sure. Because what is that background you have here on Zoom? Oh, I think you must. No, I think you must have other stuff going on the weekend. I'm not sure, but boy,
there is a wah-wah pedal in the other room. That's all I'm
Looking good, Hugh.
Well, we're here talking to our good friends from Bell Lifestyle Products, and of course, we've talked to a lot of them over the last couple of months. But I just find that today, you also, if we can start with that, you have an initiative from Bell Lifestyle Products, which really hits home. It's just so important when we look at our first line workers. What are we talking about here this morning?
Take it away, Hugh. It's your brainchild.
Look at that show and tell. Actually, we were sitting around, Doug and Tim and I, and we were trying to figure out what we could do to help. And each of us was kind of reflecting that we've been really having trouble sleeping in the last few months, weeks. And so we kind of kicked around a few ideas, and what bubbled up was, how about we help give a good night's sleep to frontline healthcare workers.
Yeah, wow.
So we cooked up this idea. We had some sample packs sitting around, so we aggregated a couple dozen thousand, and we came up with an idea. Doug was great coming up with the sample packs that Tim just showed, and giving them out for free, one card per person, per frontline worker.
Well, for the first responders and for the difficulty that their job normally entails, I think, gentlemen, when I see their pictures with the lines on their faces from the masks, the incredible hours that they work, and you know what? I'll be honest. The one thing, I guess, and this is what we do with sleep, right? It's the last thing we think about. You know how important it is, and yet all the issues that I think about, the last thing I thought, even with respect to our first responders, is the sleep, and considering what they have to deal with and what they have seen and the shifts that they're working. It is almost very likely that they're going to have difficulty trying to shut that thing off. So this initiative to have the ability, the sleep and relax tea, that is really, I think, very, very thoughtful, but honestly, your company's all about making others feel better. So maybe this just falls in complete line with how your company thinks anyway.
That's right. You actually had one of our retailers on your show a couple of weeks ago, and you were asking about the sleep products, and the sleep products are doing exceptionally well for us right now. I mean, that along with our stress products, our immunity products, of course, there's certain products that are really taken off at this point. So being able to offer this particular product and do this donation just made sense. I remember Hugh came to us, it was just a couple of weeks ago, and said, hey guys, we've discovered we've got some excess product, and I think we can work this into a format that we can get to the front line. So let's make it happen. And last week we were in contact. We're trying to do this on a local basis, if we can, to really focus this. We've got nearly 3,000 of these packs available. So targeting the hospitals in Mississauga just kind of makes sense. We've reached out, and actually we've had some connection with actually another gentleman I think works through Saga 960, David Wojcik. He's been incredibly supportive to us. So we're hoping to connect with Trillium this week and make this happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, available frontline workers is just the first step. This is a product, guys, that is probably not talked enough about. I've been taking this even before the pandemic. The sleep tea is not only excellent tasting, but really calms nerves. And at this time of everything that's happening, uncertainty, unemployment, not sure what's going to happen within the next day, let alone the next month, week, just anything you read on the news today, watch, and so forth. I find it to be just a fantastic product for myself personally, and I'm sure the frontline workers would probably really appreciate something like this, considering that if I'm stressed, could you imagine what they are going through right now?
Yeah, I think everybody's really stressed these days. You know, we've been watching individuals. I mean, right around the world, responding and reacting to the situation they're in. The anxiety is incredible. So the people that are on the front line, heightened, obviously.
Now, here's the other thing too, and I'll direct this to Hugh. And before, you know, I was sort of talking about these kinds of products, I just didn't realize oregano, like that's, to me, that's, you know, Italian food. It's probably, you can see it on the outside of your pizza when you're eating it, but oregano might be one of the oldest and most effective ways of fighting, you know, when you start talking about issues of cold and flu and so on. I just had no idea the properties that oregano actually had.
It's incredible that you asked me about that, because I absolutely know nothing about oregano. Nothing. Like, I don't even know how to spell it.
He doesn't even eat it. He doesn't like pizza, pasta, nothing.
But I'll tell you this. I did actually, I was on a contract a few years ago, and I started to have a cold come on in England. And one of the people I was working with said, "Oh, here, have this. It's oregano oil. It'll work." And I went, "Oh, great." And down the hatch, she gave me like 5 squirts worth in one shot. And after the initial 5-minute reaction of recovery, it went away. It actually, the cold really never manifested. So although I don't know any about the healing and much about the healing properties, I can tell you that it works really, really well.
Well, I think it's why when you go to Italy, these little mountain towns, those people live to their thousands. These people, these are old, they knew Moses. These are old people, and half the diet has to do with oregano. Now, when you look at, again, these other sleep products, now I have the one, I keep saying Sommelier or Sominex or whatever. It's the actual pills, those ones. And the effectiveness is, my wife is always a little reticent, you know, to sort of take these kinds of things. And now it's part of her routine. She's a school teacher. And speaking of, and I know they're not considered to be frontline people generally, but the pressure right now on our elementary school teachers and teachers as a whole, they are now dealing with technology like they've never had to deal with technology beforehand. They are trying to figure out ways to educate their students. She's a grade 1 teacher. So there's a real challenge in this online teaching world to be effective, because you don't know, once it goes into the homes, the parents may be helpful, maybe they do nothing. It is hard. It is a lot of pressure on teachers right now. And to think that they're sleeping like babies, well, I can tell you they're not. So this is just one other aspect and one other area of society that has been affected by the pandemic, who also sleep affected, because I got to tell you, it's technology. And Tim and I go back and forth sometimes. Technology, sometimes your friend, and sometimes it's not. So sleep for teachers, also something that's very important.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to mental health as a broad category, oftentimes the first thing to go is sleep, because you can't turn the squirrels off, right? You keep thinking, You keep thinking, perseverating, and it starts to eat into your sleep as you try to fall asleep. And then sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night, and sometimes you get up way too early. And there's an accumulative deleterious effect of a lack of sleep. And ultimately, if we can just take that down, that first barrier, to people having issues. In school teachers have massive pressure, nurses, doctors, everyone. If you look in 360 degrees, everyone's having an issue dealing with something we've never encountered unless you're over 100 years old. And so, sleep is kind of the first gate. If we can manage sleep and have people have a good night's sleep, they drive better, they're with their people around them, they're much more effective all around. And that's kind of all of our sleep products do a really good job of just that first, I guess the first piece of, keeping people calm and taken care of.
Guys, let's talk about it's not a new product, but I guess it's best described as a refocused product, Bell Cold and Flu. It was, I guess, previously known to consumers of echinacea. Why the refocus on the product? What does it do differently? Or I'm guessing it almost works in conjunction with what you have, probably a little bit of an upgrade to what people were used to.
Yeah, the echinacea immune support product that we've been marketing over the past few years was brought out at a time probably on the tail end of the popularity of echinacea. And actually, this particular product contains another fabulous and active ingredient called elderberry extract. And right now, the real interest inside of the immune category weighs heavy on vitamin C, zinc, and quercetin, of course, is in there now. People probably weren't even familiar with quercetin before the pandemic, and elderberry. And so one of the things we felt strongly about was positioning this product more purposely towards cold and flu. And that's really what it's there for, is to support cold and flu symptoms and knock those out of the system and reduce them as over time, reducing the severity. So this product does contain echinacea, contains elderberry, several other ingredients.
Yeah.
So we're excited about repositioning this product and expect this one to do very well in the throughout the pandemic and into next year.
So before we let you go, I just want to go over one more time about the first responder comfort pack, courtesy of Bell Lifestyle Products. How exactly does it work? And if you're a first responder, how are they getting this? What is that cooperation between yourselves and getting this to the first responders? How does that work again?
Well, that's still being negotiated. Tim actually got a connection over the weekend. If it's funny, if you think it's really easy to distribute stuff, to give it out, it's really not. The amount of flaming hoops that we're figuring out we have to dive through to be in a position to be able to just say, here you go, guys, knock yourselves out. It's actually quite difficult. We're working through that right now. How it works on a very specific basis is there's an envelope that we've envisioned it being distributed. Inside the envelope is a card that's right side up, says this Sleep and Relax Tea for COVID-19 first responders, and on the back is the actual the tea bags, and people can take one off, use it, and in the back it says a little thank you to everyone on behalf of Bell for their hard work during this pandemic. We can get back to you when we figure out how we're going to distribute it, but as Tim mentioned, that we do have a connection now with Trillium, and so he's going to be pursuing that later this morning.
Well, that's fantastic. It's the right place at the right time and coming from the right place. As you know, how difficult that has been in these situations. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Tim, always good to see you. Glad you're safe up there in isn't it a fortress? What do you have? It's in Georgetown, right? Is it a castle you live in? I was told it was a castle by the people.
Yeah.
It's a fortress.
It's just a property that's covered in snow.
Hugh, are you invited to the home often of Tim?
I have been. The airspace is opened, and I've been able to do a flyby, but that's as close as I've come so
far. Hugh, thanks so much for joining us here this morning, fellas.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. Stay healthy.
You too, Tim. Hugh, thank you.
Tim and Hugh, once again, from Bell Lifestyle Products, they are working on a first responder comfort pack that is in the works. They're talking to Trillium here, obviously in this area in Mississauga. It is a wonderful idea, thinking of those that are literally saving our families' lives on a daily basis. What a tough and emotional grind it has been. So a wonderful job once again by Bell Lifestyle Products. It is 8:20.